Hello. It has been quite a time since I last uploaded anything to this YouTube channel. Um, since I've stopped being on YouTube, I've started being on Twitch. But like a lot of people, the pandemic has made me kind of review how much I can do by reaching out to people online. And COVID has also made me reassess what I'm doing. Um, I tested positive for COVID, sadly, despite being triple jabbed, at the end of April. And here I am nearly at the end of May. And quite clearly, I'm going to, well, I'm in the realms of long COVID now. I still get incredibly tired. As you can hear, I've still got the COVID hoarse voice, still cough quite a lot. My normally well controlled asthma is not well controlled anymore. My normally reasonably well controlled blood pressure has also gone out of control. So I'm facing the prospect of extra medication. And as a therapist, I don't like taking medication that I don't need, but I know that actually, for my health and well-being, that's what I need to do. So, what are my plans for this YouTube channel? Excuse me. Okay. I want to use it alongside my Twitch stream and with my Patreon to basically maximize the amount of work that I can do virtually and from home. Because COVID has kind of brought me up, to a screeching halt and made me review how I'm using my time and my energy. And I've realised that I can't carry on the way I was. Something's got to give. I am absolutely passionate about empowering people to take steps to help themselves with their health and their well-being. And I'm talking physical health and well-being, and of course, mental health and well-being. Video and YouTube is still a way that if you wish to learn Reiki with me, you can. I prefer to do attunements in person, but you can learn at your own pace, paying as you go. Because I know money's a big issue for some people, it's an issue for a lot of people at the moment. But primarily, I want to use all my video outlets, whether it's Twitch streaming or YouTube, to give people and teach people techniques that they can use for themselves to manage their own health and well-being in a way that works for them, as well as disabled people and carers. There is now a whole new cadre of people out there who possibly for the first time are thinking about, how to manage their health and well-being. And that's the sadly ever-growing number of people who, in ways major or minor, are struggling with long COVID, which is a real thing. So I want to use these YouTube streams. I'm hoping that I will be able to go live. I've never gone live on YouTube. I'm going to experiment with that and see what happens. But that's very much an unknown entity. I will put in the information about this video links to my Twitter account where you can follow me and talk to me, my Discord where you can talk to me, my Twitch stream where you will find lots of videos in my back catalogue, and also to my Patreon page. Patrons will get access to exclusive content once a month. But my prime aim in using these different platforms is to help people. It's so that if somebody reads something or hears something or watches something that resonates with them, that they can think, hey, do you know what? That's something I can try. Because good health and not good health, I do not currently have good health, but having optimum health and well-being is not something that anybody else can do for you. You can only do it for yourself. And that's by taking decisions that help and support in a way that works for you. Whether that is taking medication, doing meditation, doing Tai Chi Qigong, doing some hypnotherapy, maybe even learning Reiki, so you're able to use Reiki self-healing. It doesn't matter. There is no one magic bullet. I wish there was, but there isn't. Because what suits one person won't suit another. And whatever you choose to do, you need to fit it into your life as it is now. There is no point in suddenly saying, right, I know that I need to do more meditation, so I'm going to meditate for 30 minutes a day. Out of nowhere. Life isn't like that. It isn't going to work. You need to fit your life as it is now and find maybe even only 1 or 2 minutes to do something that you've seen me demonstrate or heard me talk about. And if you're sitting there thinking, oh, hang on, what good is 1 or 2 minutes a day going to do? Don't underestimate the power of making even small steps. Because once you are in the habit of spending that 1, 2, or 5 minutes, when you're in that mindset that says, right, I am going to sit and be mindful for 1 minute of breathing, which is a really good starting point. Once you've got into that habit, it is easier and there is more momentum to actually do it for longer, particularly if you start noticing benefits. So I'm not sitting here saying, oh, you've got to practice Tai Chi every day. You've got to meditate every day. Use the Buddhify app, use the Calm app, use the Plum Village app. You need to use them every day. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you've got a health issue, you need to find what resonates with you, something that you think, yeah, I could do that. And just do as much of it as you can, because doing something is a damn sight better than doing nothing. Because in the end, it's your health. And if you're not happy with it, you are the only one that can do anything about that. Now, this does mean accepting limitations. You know, I've got osteoarthritis of the hip. I'm never going to get rid of that. There are things I can do to ease it, but it's never going to go away. Excuse me. But that doesn't mean, within the limits of what osteoarthritis does to me, I can't be as healthy as possible within the limits of the resources. Now, a lot of the things that I put on Twitch, and undoubtedly a lot of the things I put on here, will be about stress management, because stress is one of the largest drivers of ill health out there. None of the techniques that I teach wave a magic wand. None of them will suddenly take away any issues that you have. At the moment, the issues are obviously finance, because we're all struggling with the cost of living. You know, maybe having to juggle a budget for the first time, because suddenly you're thinking, hang on a minute, the things that I used to do without thinking, I've now actually got to think about. Maybe it's housing. Maybe you don't have anywhere decent to live. Maybe it's a job. Maybe you're having difficulty finding a job. Yes, there are people who will have difficulty finding work that suits them, even in today's environment. Because a job is very much part of you. And if you are faced with a situation where you're thinking, right, I've got to have a job, this is not really the one I want, but it's going to give me the extra finance that I need so that I haven't got to worry about putting food on the table, paying the rent, paying the mortgage, paying my fuel bills, paying for petrol. You're the only one that can decide whether that's a trade-off worth doing. But I will tell you one thing. If you take the job and just focus on how much you don't like it, how much you don't want to be doing it, you are not going to get the full benefit, because you're just going to be unhappy. Life can be tough. Life is very tough at times. Sometimes we just have to accept something that we don't really want in an ideal world, because of the benefits we get. And then what you need to do is focus on, right, okay, I don't like this job, but at the moment at least, I've got enough money to pay the bills, put petrol in the car, pay the fuel bill, and all those things that really matter to us. Because stress isn't caused by what's going on, but by what we are thinking about what's going on, whether that's a person, situation, or an event. Stress starts up here. That doesn't mean that all your stress and problems are imagined, far from it. But I mentioned resources a little bit earlier. So what is stress? Stress is a perceived imbalance between the problem that needs to be solved and the resources you have available. Now, an awful lot of what I do is aimed at helping you realise that, you know what, I'm actually, when I look in the right place, I've actually got more resources than I think I have. Because the one thing I passionately believe is that everybody matters. I know you matter. I want you to realise that you matter, that you're worth taking time over. And that's another thing that you will hear an awful lot, whether on here or on my Twitch streams. You matter. Now, I don't care where you live, what you do, how old you are, what colour your skin is, what religion you subscribe to, what political party you support, what your sexuality is, what your gender is. Because if you're watching this, you are a fellow human being. And that means that you are worthy of my respect. And even more, you are worthy of your own respect. And a lot of what I do is aimed at getting people to realise, you know what? I can actually do more than I think I can. I might not be able to solve the problem completely, but you know what? I can get part of the way. I can make changes. Because I want everybody to realise that change is possible. You might not be able to make the changes you want. I mean, if I could make the changes I want, everybody would have enough money. The war in Ukraine would be over. We'd have much greener sources of fuel. We'd have electric cars everywhere. Rents would be peanuts so that everybody had access to decent housing, the ability to make food and keep themselves fed and clothed and sheltered without having to, go out begging cap in hand saying, help me. So that's what this stream is going to be about. But I want to speak especially now to anybody who has had COVID or is recovering from COVID. COVID is an illness unlike anything we've ever seen before. It attacks the whole body. That's why the effects can be so devastating. It's a lottery as to whether you get at the mild end of the spectrum or at the rougher, I'm going to have lots of symptoms and I'm going to have long COVID end of the spectrum. And everything in between. It's no respecter of age or anything. And one of the things that I've learned is that the fatigue that you get with COVID is off the charts. And I think that's something that I'm going to have to live with. My son keeps saying, Mum, you just got to be patient. Yeah, actually, I know that. Will I ever get back to 100% if I was before COVID? If I'm honest, possibly not. So harnessing my energy as I go forward is probably going to become something that I just have to do. Just got to live with. And that's another one of these difficult restrictions on life that, you're thinking, I don't, I want to be able to do what I used to do. Well, tough. Sometimes the hardest thing is learning to deal with the world as it is and not as you would like it to be. None of us can change the world, or very few of us. I mean, there are some people who can make big, big changes. But just because you're not famous, you're not an influencer, you're not, you know, a world famous politician with the power to do a lot of good. Just because your sphere of influence is small doesn't mean that it's not valuable. You are important. If you make yourself better, if you can make your own health and well-being a little better, that's a good start. But you don't live in isolation. You have a community around it. It may only be a small community. It may just be your housemates. It may just be your partner. It may just be the people who live in your street. You can't make the world a better place, but maybe there's something you can do to make your bit of it just a little bit better. And if we all did that, eventually the whole world would be a better place. Yes, terribly Pollyannaish, I know, and is worthy of Jay Shetty, and whom I do admire, and Oprah Winfrey, who I also admire. There's a story that I was introduced to when I first started delving into all this therapy stuff back in 2007. Gosh, 15 years ago. Wow. It's been an interesting journey. And that's a starfish on the beach. Man walking along a beach, covered in starfish. They were all dying. And he was thinking, oh my goodness, what can I do? This is horrible. They're all dying and I can't do anything about it. And then further on the beach, he saw a woman who was picking starfish up and throwing them back in. I looked at her and said, well, you're not going to make much of a difference, really, are you? I mean, there's hundreds and thousands of them. They're all dying. The woman picked up another starfish, threw it back in, looked at him and said, well, I made a difference to that one. And that's what I hope to do with these videos. I hope to make a difference to a few people who hear something I say, watch something I demonstrate and think, do you know what? I can do that. And if I can make a difference to you, don't underestimate the power you have to make differences, even if only small ones, to other people. Right, I'm going to end this video now. I've got to remind myself how to upload it to YouTube. I'm not tech savvy. I really am not tech savvy. But we'll get there. It'll get out there. I'll put information in the video about how you can contact me in other places. Feel free, if you've seen this, to contact me and say, do you know what? Could you talk about? And if it's something that I'm qualified to do, I will do so. Maybe I should talk about what I'm qualified in. Right, I have certificates, and if needed to, I'm very happy to show them to you. I have certificates that show I'm qualified as a Reiki teacher. I can also do Indian head massage. That's not going to work across the web, is it? I'm trained in hypnotherapy and life coaching. I am trained in mindfulness, and I am qualified to demonstrate Tai Chi Qigong. And let's be honest, really they all overlap, because I very often use life coaching techniques when I'm leading a meditation. And doing Tai Chi can be very meditative. I often talk of Tai Chi like it's a kind of moving meditation for the sort of person who wouldn't want to sit still for 30 minutes to meditate. Might totally reject the idea that they could even contemplate such a thing. So I do have certificates. I do know what I'm talking about. I am qualified. I've got insurance as well. Happy to show you my insurance certificates. But in the end, this is your channel. I want to cover what you would like me to do. So do please feel free to contact me and say, hey, in your next video, can you? I'm going to leave it there and say, in the meantime, take care of yourself. Remember, you matter. And I have a favourite one-word sign-off, which if you watch me on Twitch, you will know what's coming. There is a wonderful Sanskrit word that can roughly be translated as, I honour the divine in you. Because I truly believe every single person has a divine spark within them that regardless of anything, I need to honour as a fellow human being. I will see you again soon, I hope. Namaste.